miles or 28 miles or 15 miles, whatever they have to go. It's going to mean a trip of probably over an hour, 40 minutes at least from the time the whistle goes off, emergency goes off, to when they get them to a hospital. Nearest one would be Dunkirk. Very serious matter, and it doesn't cost the state very much money, but they seem hell-bent on closing the hospital. We have a couple of, we've done everything. Everybody write letters, please. And the guy in charge really is a guy named Richard Daines. Richard Daines is the New York State Commissioner of Health, the Director of Health Services, or whatever his title is. He's the one who's decided to close it, and we're trying to get him to see the picture. It's going to kill a lot of people. A lot of seniors ain't going to make it. You can't make it for you. When you have a stroke, a heart attack, that magic few minutes, it's gone. You're going to croak by the time you get to the hospital if you don't have that ER to help you out. Write Mr. Daines. Write the governor. We've got a whole bunch of good people going down, meeting with the officials in Albany this week. We're trying everything possible to keep that hospital, at least the ER, the emergency room, open. And it serves not just Westfield, but it serves the surrounding communities, Mayville and Ripley and Portland, who all have quick access to a nearby hospital, especially if their patients live on the Westfield side. Of course, Westfield, it's a disaster if they close it. So keep those letters flowing. And incidentally, we've got a couple of folks who you see on my programming regularly. They're a prize-winning video camera team, video journalists, and it's Roy and Karen Harvey. They're doing a film on this. And this, listen to this, and I want you to write a number down. If you've had your life saved in the Westfield Memorial Hospital emergency room, or at the hospital, they want your name and they want to interview you, or they at least like to talk to you over the phone, because it's going to be part of their film they're putting together very quickly, which will be out all over the place. Okay, so you want to talk, if you've had your life saved at the Westfield Hospital, we want you to call this number, 753-7062. Call Roy Harvey and Karen Harvey. Again, 753-7062. It would make a big difference on whether we're going to close the Westfield Hospital or not. So please do this. If you've had your life saved or know somebody who has, the Westfield Hospital, it's important we make mention of this. Again, the last time, the number is 753-7062. Roy, Karen Harvey. I'm going to take a little break. I have a public service announcement for you, and then we'll hear from the geezer. Here's the word just for you.
Cable access channels are critical tools for local government. They provide important information about issues, services, and programs, as well as local emergencies. They also allow you to watch your local elected officials in action. Through the provision of governmental access channels, our communities are kept informed, educated, and entertained. Where else can you get information about your local government? Make sure everyone has a voice. Support your local government access channel.
Okay, there you go. I wanted to mention, incidentally, a very nice couple that saved my wife's life recently, just about. She had 2 molars that were just killing her, and it was over the Columbus Day holiday, so most dentists were closed, and you couldn't get in because everybody was packed for emergency service. Well, somebody gave her an emergency immediately and took care of the teeth, did everything perfectly, nice job, and I just wanted to compliment them. Their name is Berner. They're over on Central Avenue in Dunkirk, and it's John and Jennifer Berner. I hope you hear about this, John and Jennifer. You certainly were wonderful in that you took Janie in at a very reasonable cost and took care of her dental needs immediately and saved that pain, which was bringing literally howls of crying and tears to her eyes. God help the good people out here in Chautauqua County to do the job. I got a guy right here. This is a geezer. He shoots from the hip. Mort Flexer. Good morning, Mort.
Good morning, Reed. Good morning, Dave. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize for the sound of my voice, but it had nothing to do with me personally. I just walked into the wrong germs, I suppose. But I'd like to pick up where Reed left off. He touched a nerve. Most of you probably don't know that I came to Westfield in 1981 to run the Westfield Memorial Hospital. At that time, it was facing bankruptcy for a very foolish reason. The You know, we had two wonderful people working in finance at the time, Bill Edwards and Jim Kelly, but they knew very little about modern technology, although they learned very quickly after I got there. The problem, very simply, was that they had purchased an inadequate computer, and it had spilled about 6 million bills. It took me all of about 15 minutes to find out after I came up here at the request of the State Hospital Association. They suggested I apply for the job of administrator, and then while I went through the records, find out what the heck the problem was. Because it was the State Hospital Association at the time that had recommended that the hospital close. Once again, the problem was a simple one. When they offered me the job, I thought, my God, you know, I'm living in a community of 10 million people in New York City, and go to a town with a population of 5,000. But in any event, it didn't take me long to find out the problem with the hospital. It didn't take me long to find out the wonders of Chautauqua County. I've lived in a number of places in this state, and there is no doubt in my mind but that Chautauqua County is the loveliest of them all. And we need to, however, you know, Westfield, you all know, of course, we're in a rural county, but nonetheless, we do need modern facilities, modern assistance, such as a hospital. So, for heaven's sake, do as Reed suggests. You can get a copy of a letter at the hospital to send if you don't want to write your own, and they can give you phone numbers to call if you'd rather do it that way. But do something. Don't ever have to look back in your life and say, oh my God, they closed the hospital. I could have done something about it and didn't. Please, help. Thank you, Reed.
Thank you, Mark. Well said. Again, the number, if you want to help out in another way, if you've had your life saved or know somebody who has, it would be wonderful if you were to call this number and get it on record, 753-7062. 753-7062. Harvey's will make note of that for you. Okay, I'm going to just take a little moment of quiet, of peace. We can think about some of these wonderful things in life, the fact that we do still have a hospital in Westfield, or ER, and like the cities who have hospitals at every corner, you can get help immediately. You should be able to also in Westfield and the surrounding communities. Let's hope that Mr. Dane sees the light for us and understands. Take a moment every day, give yourself some peace, some quiet, concentrate on something beautiful, and meditate a little bit, maybe say a prayer, send some energy out to somebody. Here's a lovely scene. This is for you. That was the Lakeview Cemetery over in Jamestown. We want to especially thank Randy Burt, who is a very accomplished photographer as well as a pilot of the Bemis Point Ferry. He's a man of many accomplishments. I'm sure most of us have stopped at our cemetery. You know, cemeteries are really very beautiful places. They're well landscaped, they're flowers, they're beautiful trees, the grass is lovely. And it's a place where people do remember someone who's passed on, of course, but it's a nice place just to take a little stroll. I do it regularly, and just refresh your soul a little bit. Maybe it makes you feel good because you're on the right side of the sod. I don't know, but that's the story. Okay, we got a guy here